Yes, Alexis Willis. It's been a chore getting here, but I think we're live.
I think we can do it now.
I don't know how long my internet connection is going to hold up. Did you just shake a little bit? Did you just shim? Okay. You didn't do that the first time we tried this. You made fun of this.
You're a piece of what in the world?
Well, let me do this because I had the title wrong the first time. Alexis Willis is the Director of Small Business and Entrepreneurship at the Chattanooga Chamber.
Correct. That's me.
And you also have I know you have an event you do, but you also are about to possibly launch a podcast, video series.
Yes, Collard Greens and Cornbread.
Collard Greens and Cornbread. And tell everybody why you named it. Are you okay with talking about that?
I'm good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course. So Collard Greens and Cornbread started in 2016 as just a conversation around racial equity. And then in the recent climate, I recognized that the conversation needs to continue. So relaunched Collard Greens and Cornbread. COVID happened, so we can't do the live events. So now we are transitioning into doing, of course, virtual like everyone else. But I do want it to become a podcast where we go beyond racial equity conversations and talk about other, hard topics.
Well, and we talked a little bit about this before we came on, and we're not going to spend this time talking only about that. But I think places like that are valuable because we've got to have a place where we can talk about things and we're comfortable, where we're not going to be labeled.
Right.
Where we can say differing opinions, but we still leave with some stuff that's in common.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, the environment that we've created is one of it's team politics. And if we don't believe the same, if we don't look the same, then we got to be on different teams. And that's really not how most of us live our lives.
No, it's not. Yeah. And it's frustrating, isn't it? For people like us who like to have conversations. And you and I, even, before we went live, we didn't agree on all our points. Most of them did, but I don't hate you.
Well, no. And I guess that's I think. And one of the things I was saying to you is most people, not all people, there's evil people out there, but most people are good people.
Right.
They don't want to see bad things happen to people that it's in their world, but they may not agree with you. And how do we change or grow, or how do we even know what we have in common or not have in common if we don't have the freedom to talk and disagree? I don't understand how we grow if we can't disagree.
I don't remember this idea of not being able to disagree before social media.
I agree.
I feel like people got bolder because you can say anything behind a keyboard and not have to confront the person you're talking to. You don't have to look them in the eye. You don't even have to know. I mean, you can just be a keyboard bully. I think that's what they're called, right? Whereas before that, I'm thinking about how many face-to-face interactions we had. That was the only way I would communicate with people, or on the phone, and you can hear tone, things like that. All that's lost.
Well, and we've lost the ability. Yeah, it is. And we've also lost the ability to understand that it is possible for people to go through life with different perspectives. It doesn't mean your perspective's right or wrong. It means it's different.
It's different.
And if we don't give the space to say to you, I don't see things the way you see things. I disagree with you on these 3 points. On these 2 points, we agree, but at least have to validate the fact that your perspective is just as real to you as my perspective is to me. And if you can't say that, if I have to convince you that my perspective should be your perspective, that's kind of not good.
Well, then you're like, what are we talking about? We're not even talking about the topic anymore.
No, we're talking about how you should change your mind.
Right, exactly. And that's not, that's not fun. I mean, nobody wins.
I'll give you a piece of advice though, if you don't mind me, because I'm older than you. So I'm going to if you're ever taking advice from a guy that has curtains like this behind him, don't do it.
Oh, that's beautiful. What is that? Velvet?
I had a velvet Elvis behind me, and my little studio room internet's not working, so I had to come out here, and I had the curtains open because it's pretty. And you said that I look shadowy.
You look like a shadow. I couldn't see your handsome face, Clint.
Yeah.
You got to see it all, okay?
Hairy face and blue eyes. But so I shut the curtains, and then immediately I went, it's 1970. I feel like I should have shag carpet. And,
I'm apologizing for your curtains.
So on those, Kevin Lusk, we just talked about Kevin. He said hello.
Hey, Kevin.
And
Look at Eric on there.
Yep. I think those curtains were in The Shining. Shut up, Kevin. Aren't you supposed to be working instead of taking?
Aren't you on the clock, Kevin?
Absolutely. So I want to kind of break this up into a couple conversations. But since we've started talking about the podcast, let's stay on that for a short time, and then we'll move into what you do for the chamber, because I think what we're going to talk about is just a taste of that business owners need to hear or have a little of right now, especially in COVID.
Yeah.
So, what made you this series of conversations? What made you now want to start doing the podcast? Is it like you said because the live part is gone, or do you think you would still want to go down the podcast road even if you could do live, because podcasts can get your message out to a bunch of people?
Yeah. Well, I think we were going to do a hybrid. So we were going to do a few live seats and then do the rest virtual or podcast. But as I started thinking about it, these conversations should be national. They should be broader than just Chattanooga. So we decided that we would go with a podcast. Like it just seemed like the next best thing.
It was going to be a video series too, though, not just audio, right?
Right. Video series too. Mm-hmm.
And do you have a Facebook page? People could go and like the page and get ready for this?
We do. It's called Collard Greens and Cornbread. Yep. And the page is up. And so there's also a link there. We have a newsletter that goes out monthly so that people can, stay in the loop of what we're reading. So there's a link there where they can sign up and get on our email list too.
See, that you said that's comfort food, and I like the way you said it. You can have uncomfortable conversations if you're having comfort food.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to start a bunch of podcasts. I would have to start pinto beans and cornbread. I would have to start peanut butter jelly.
Macaroni and cheese.
Pizza podcast.
Well, collard greens and cornbread is my absolute favorite dish.
How do you cook your collard greens?
So I'm trying to stay away from pork. Traditionally, that's how I would cook it with a good.
I'm sorry, this podcast is over. Thank you very much.
No, who makes collard greens in the South without ham hock?
How are you doing that? How'd you get around that? What do you do? What do you use?
I use turkey, smoked turkey. I know. Don't give me that.
Look. We may disagree on who should be president, but and we can be friends. You're putting turkey and collard greens. I think that might be the cutting off point.
I know. But so I grew up in New Orleans, right? And when I moved here, I had never seen collard greens with slices of onion and tomato on top. That's like a up here thing. We didn't do that in New Orleans ever. But
we're up here. We're the North compared to you.
Yeah.
That's
in New Orleans, and ain't nobody cooking no collard greens with turkey either. I'd probably get laughed out the kitchen.
Yes, you would.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine is from New Orleans. He owns Tasty Donuts. What? Anthony McGinnis. Yeah. So if you're looking for the king cakes, all the original stuff that you get during Mardi Gras, he makes that from scratch.
Ooh, Tasty. I need to get to know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony McGinnis.
Yeah, because king cakes roll around. So my birthday is in February, so usually that's my request is a king cake.
Well, Tasty Donuts does them right. Okay, so I look forward to the podcast. You're working out on what platform you're going to use it on, right?
Right. So we started with IG Live, with Instagram Live, and it was a disaster. But I'm a big believer in just do it and fix it later, right? So we're exploring which platform will allow us to engage with the audience, because we want it to be a safe space. We want to be able to ask questions or give feedback or disagree with someone's point. I really want to act as a facilitator, and I will have a co-host each time.
See, and just so you know what we can do, you can put stuff like this up on the screen so everybody can read.
Yeah.
Everybody can read the questions.
Uh-huh.
So, and then I showed you already, you can pull up pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think I said StreamYard, Be Live, Zoom, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other platforms. If people watch this, send her, if there's platforms you prefer, let her try them out.
Yeah, let me know, because I'm open. I am completely green to this. So,
all right. So you said you're in book clubs too. Do you have a favorite genre of books you like to read?
Lord, I tend to stick with self-help, things that center around entrepreneurship and leadership. Let me see, my bookshelf is right behind me now. So I have Think and Grow Rich on there. I just finished that one. Educated, I haven't started that one yet. What else is on there? Self-Made, about Madam C.J. Walton.
So do you like books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? Have you ever read that book?
It's on my shelf. So I am a book junkie. And so I will buy them. And I have a lot of them that I haven't even read yet. But
so you've not read that one?
Not yet, but it's on my shelf.
You should read that soon. That's one of my favorite. I read it at least once a year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That and Break All the Rules. First, Break All the Rules. It's a good entrepreneur.
Break All the Rules. Okay, I'm gonna write that one down.
He does a series of books, but the first one, First Break All the Rules, is a really good one. So, or when you buy books online, and again, I'm older than you, but see, there's something about me. I like going into the old bookstores that smell.
I know. Yeah,
that's my favorite place.
Bookworm. So anytime I get a new book, I smell the pages.
Do you do that in your car, like you're not an addict? You don't get that from an ebook. You can't.
Don't give me
sniff your phone.
No, don't give me no Kindle. And again, you have to read with a pen, take notes in the margin.
Yep. Good.
Yeah, true.
Let's flip the script a little bit. I think we're pushing our internet luck, so I'm glad. So far, so good.
Okay.
I've said that. I've just doomed us all. Tell me, though, about what you specifically do at the chamber, and then I want to talk, if you're okay with it, what you're doing now, if anything's changed during COVID. In other words, because not only has, Chattanooga Chamber, not only is when business change, you guys kind of have to change to meet the needs.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the chamber is doing a really great job of evaluating their value proposition, right? So, people join the chamber for networking and face-to-face interaction, and we're not able to do that right now. So there's a lot of programs happening that people can keep up with on the chamber website. A lot of information, the latest up-to-date information on COVID is on their website. Now at the Incubator, the building is still functioning, as in we have close to 50 founders in the building still going in there day to day.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're still going in there. We have safety precautions, like they still have to wear masks in the common areas, things like that. But Hoff and Pepper is still producing hot sauce. And we have the August sisters still in there making earrings. And we have Cypress Body Works still giving, massages and doing, a lot of the cool things that she's doing. Therapists, they're all still going into the building. So that is still functioning. Now, in terms of the program offerings, we were doing tours. We've cut that out, of course.
Yeah.
And we've gone virtual with 2 pieces of programming. Incuversity, which is for the clients, by the clients. So once a month, they tune in via Zoom and talk to each other, teach each other, or talk about what they're struggling with and give each other advice. And then the other one is Experience Talks, which is open to the public. It's the first Wednesday of every month. And we bring in industry experts for just the power hour on your lunch break.
So, but the goal, if I'm not mistaken, this is great where I get to tell you what your goal is and you get to go. I get to go at all.
Okay.
Well, but I mean, eventually small businesses or developing businesses or entrepreneurial spirited folks can go into the incubator, but eventually the goal is to hopefully outgrow the incubator.
Right.
I like how you did that.
They got to get out. Yeah. So, so we do offer below market rate rent, and that's to keep our founders overhead low so that they can reinvest into their companies. We actually haven't slowed down because of the pandemic. We've had some people transition out that were on the office side, but our manufacturing side is almost full.
What's the goal to get people? Is it 2 years, 3 years, or is it on their own pace?
3 years with an optional 4th year. You have to apply to get into the program. And in January, we started, in addition to the application, you now have 5 minutes to pitch to a committee of 5. So it creates a win-win, right? So they pitch, they get practice pitching, and we give them feedback on their company. Even if they don't get in the program, we feel like the feedback will be valuable. So that includes an Incubator team member, a current Incubator client, an Incubator alum, one of the VPs, and then one of our partners.
What did you do before you came over here and started doing this with the chamber?
I was at the Collab with Marcus Shaw.
What did you do there?
I was, what did I do there? I was the one of the program directors.
If you're asking me what you did there, though, you're going to be in trouble because I barely got what you do now right.
I know. Marcus is going to be like, what were you thinking? I believe it was because my title changed a couple of times. I had kind of a hybrid role where I worked with both Collab and Launch Chattanooga.
Okay.
So, and I was director of initiatives and something. That looked great on my resume, but I was very effective.
You did a great job. That's sure.
All everybody needs to know. Who get titles? That's not important.
But the Incubator is a joint effort between city and county, or am I wrong on that?
So the county owns our building. The county does provide most of our funding, and we are so grateful for them. We also partner with the city on different initiatives. I mean, we partner with them as much as we can.
Yeah. I think people would be surprised at not only the services the chamber has, but the Incubator. So I have the stuff that you offer the Incubator now that's gone digital or online. Are there outside businesses that could kind of jump in and say, I would like to take advantage of that? Or are there stuff like that through the chamber's website? Is that just for the Incubator members?
Incuversity is just for the Incubator members. Experience talks, anyone can engage with those. And if you want to find out when those are, you can subscribe to our newsletter, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We post all that stuff pretty consistently there.
That's pretty cool. Do you listen to podcasts yourself?
So for somebody who's talking about starting one, I don't listen to them as much as I probably should.
Yeah.
There is one, it was on NPR. What was it? I can't think of the name of it, but it was really good.
What was that really good one? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, what I realized was that, like, I will ask my friends and I'm like, what's your favorite podcast? Everyone has a different favorite. And I'm like, okay, I don't have time to listen to 13 different favorites. What is it? It's not.
But the top A or the heavy podcast listeners listen to between 6 and 8 favorite podcasts a week.
See what I'm saying? What kind of time do y'all have? Y'all don't.
That's on the treadmill. That's driving. It's at night when should be sleeping.
No, I know. I'm just gonna have to honestly, I would rather read a book. But that's why, Collard Greens and Cornbread, the catalyst for conversation is a book. So it's like I get the best of both worlds.
How do you pick the book? Who picks the book?
This time it was kind of just like, it was a recommendation from one of my friends, and we're reading How to Be an Anti-Racist. Now, mind you, Collard Greens and Cornbread is not a part of my day job. Let me.
No. Let's draw another line right now. The Collard Greens and the Collard Greens and Cornbread that's not your stuff.
The chamber. Yeah. So it was a recommendation from a friend of mine. Another one that we're considering is The Color of Law, talking about redlining. I'm looking at my bookshelf. And what's another one? White Fragility is another one.
So when you read these, do you are you plan on having people that maybe have different opinions about things on with you, or is it just going to be you and your co-host kind of talking back and forth?
It's me and my co-host kind of talking back and forth, but my co-hosts are open to disagree with me.
Oh, have they done that in the past? Do you think they will?
Well, yeah. So the last one, I had LaQuisha Ewing on there, and we were talking about how to be an anti-racist, and the question was, can Black people be racist? And so the book digs into that. The book says, yes, we can. And LaQuisha was kind of on the fence about it. She was just like, she was kind of mum about, I shouldn't say she disagreed, but she challenged. Because I was like, no, like we can't. We're not the ones in power. We're not the one putting policies together.
So do you remember when you said, I think I may want to have you on the podcast?
Yeah.
This would be a good podcast right now. In a podcast where your day job is not on the line, this would be a good podcast.
Exactly. Yeah.
But again, I look forward to that because it would be great to hear stuff like that discussed.
Yeah.
When it's not in 3-minute TV sound bites. Mm-hmm. And it's not two people yelling, and that would be awesome.
Well, the live events that I've hosted, no one is yelling. You know, like we watched, one of the last ones I hosted was we watched 13th, that documentary by Ava DuVernay. We did an exercise called Cross the Line. I don't know if you've heard of it. Mm-hmm. So you have people on either side of a line, and you ask a question. And if the answer to the question is affirmative, then you step to the line. So it'll start with like,
oh, I have heard that. Yeah.
So what it does is it equalizes. It's an equalizer, right? Right. So we start with that icebreaker. Then we watch the documentary, and then I broke everyone up into smaller groups that were led by a facilitator. And you heard some voices rise, but no one was like finger pointing. I would hear, I disagree with that, and here's why. And they're the healthiest exchanges that, that's the part that I'm trying to figure out how to infuse that into the podcast, and into the virtual. But it gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
There's power in being heard, mm-hmm. and again, not being heard with the intent to change your mind, right? Being heard, just that you can say something, mm-hmm. and I can disagree, mm-hmm. and we've both listened, and I'm not going to have to label you, right? And if we want to have coffee or beer or collard greens and cornbread afterwards, we can do that. I was trying to find something else to compare it to, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think this whole world of everybody has to agree with everybody, and everybody's got to have the same perspective. That's a dangerous place to be because mm-hmm. it's unachievable, and it would be super boring.
I don't want any of my friends around me to agree with me all the time. I have a friend, and she and I will go toe to toe. And then have dinner. We are intentional about having dinner every week.
That's awesome.
Even when we disagree, I don't talk to her every day, but she will gather me right together, or vice versa. And we break bread together, and that's the end of that,
That's good. That's what it's supposed to be.
It is. I don't want anyone around me that's just gonna say yes for sake of.
But here's the other thing is, once you've had a conversation where you can disagree and even mm-hmm. say, well, I'm not changing my mind. Well, mm-hmm. I'm not changing my mind. Mm-hmm. But once you can do that and have dinner or still have a cordial relationship and like each other, those are the people you can trust.
Yes. And she and I, we've worked through our stuff, right? So she's biracial. So when a lot of this stuff like the George Floyd and all that stuff was happening, our conversations were really interesting, and they didn't go the way that I expected or anyone would expect, right? So she would say, she wouldn't dare let me say something like, I think this person is giving me this because, I try not to use the word racist, right? I'm like, I think there's some bigotry happening, or it's because I'm Black. And she was like, is it because you're Black? Or you are not meeting the expectations? Is it that you're not delivering what you're supposed to be delivering? Like, let's take a look at that. Now, she doesn't deny that sometimes people will, act a different way towards you because of your race, but that's not the first thing, right? So
well, that's what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to sound, it's a soundbite, but when everything is everything, then nothing is nothing. So in other words, if I can't disagree with you based off your ideas or your policies, if I can't disagree with you on that, I have to be labeled something, then that means everything is either insert label here.
Yeah.
Well, then that takes the attention off the real problems.
The root issue, right?
That's right, because there's real evil, there's real bad, there's real bigotry out there, but it can't. All of our disagreements can't come down to bigotry, because then that means the real problem gets to sneak off and hide and over here in the bushes, and we and you can't agree to go. Okay, that's not. I don't think. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, and then together we get to focus on that and go, okay, these three things we can disagree on, but we all look at that. That's not good.
Yeah, we'll be like, that is a problem, and
let's go get it.
Tackle it. Yes, put our resources behind tackling.
And what I'll do is I'll write that problem down on one of my cool pieces of notebook paper.
This paper.
You might need to buy me. But we talked about this. I can't remember if it was on this when we tried the first one, which failed. I have right now 20 notebooks around me at all times with ideas.
I don't understand how people don't have notebooks around. I've got this one here. I've got my calendar I can write on if I jot down a note. Let's see, my desk.
Do you use your phone a lot? You use your phone a lot? See, I do. I've gotten better at it, but if it's in my phone, even if I put it in my phone, I have to set myself 3 alarms. For one thing. Like I had 3 alarms for this broadcast, one at 9 a.m., one at 11 a.m., and then one at 1.
Now, in terms of calendar stuff, yes, I do rely on my phone because it's always near me. But otherwise, I have like this. And look at all these papers in it, Clint. You see all that?
Is that a day planner or is that like a policy and procedures book? Is that your... is that your personal HR?
Excuse me, sir. It is a passion planner. So
wait a minute. Hold on, a passion planner.
Yes. So this is not a commercial for passion planner, but this is the nerd in me, right? So I get to write by time and journal at the bottom. So, if you have an idea that you need to get out of your head, but you need to focus on something current, you just jot it down.
That's called a day planner. We used to have day planners in the 80s and 90s.
Oh, they came from the same era as your curtain.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. All stuff new is bad, said the old cranky dude. Dadgummit. You're starting to show me that. I'm going, that looks just like a day planner. She sissified it up and made it a passion planner. I can't use that. Where do you carry your passion planner? Oh, in my fanny pack. Hold on, let me.
Oh, excuse me, I have one of those too. But this one doesn't fit in there.
Fanny packs, though, just to be honest with you, are coming back.
Do you have one?
Absolutely not. I am a 52-year-old. No. And if I did have one, I wouldn't wear. I would keep it. I would just talk to it and pet it and keep it over. Take it out in public.
Fanny packs are evolving. Okay? So we have some that are different colors. You can wear it now. The guys are wearing them like across their shoulders now.
It's a shoulder purse. It's okay.
It's still on trend.
I don't know if you noticed this. I'm not trending.
I was nothing. Ignore it.
Nothing about me screams trending at all. I'm sitting in my living room doing a podcast on a Tuesday afternoon.
Oh no! Well, hey,
I'm not trending. You're actually working from home. I'm working because I got to get home. That's my issue. So I want to encourage everybody to go tell everybody you're on the personal side again. Collard Greens and Cornbread has a Facebook page.
Yes, Collard Greens and Cornbread has a Facebook page. Our next event is August 17th. It'll be virtual. I advise everyone to get on our email list because that's where we'll send the link and how to get your collard greens and cornbread, pick them up, and then bring them home and tune in.
All right. And then lastly, if you're a business owner out there and you may be looking for space or you need some help or some services and you go, I don't know if they could help me or not, the best thing to do is just to go to the Chamber's website.
Yeah, you can go to the Chamber's website /Incubator and you can find out more information about our program. We'd love to help. And if we can't support you, then we connect you to people in the ecosystem that can.
Yeah, just don't let, here's my suggestion to business owners. Don't let the crazy world we're living in prevent you from taking advantage of this time, from learning, and you can still network and add folks to your phone's contact list.
Absolutely. And we have actually seen an uptick, as I mentioned before, of folks reaching out to us because, you know, I think people are realizing that, like, when you work for someone else, you're at the mercy of the decisions they make, right? But when you own your own, you make
well, and I'll predict this. I think a lot of people are going to own their own, even if it's a side thing for a while, right, to kind of ensure in case this happens again, I have this.
Yep. And that is also successful. It doesn't have to be that you turn into the next cover of the next business that's on the cover of Inc. magazine. An extra $500,000 a month is still a success.
Absolutely. It is. All right. So let's do this. Let's end this one. Okay. And now that we know how to make this work and I've got to sit right in front of my modem, then we can do this more often, but maybe we'll catch up next time. Next time you do an event, let me know. Maybe we'll come on before it and do a little promo with it.
That's awesome. And I'm going to have you on Collard Greens and Cornbread so we can disagree.
I'm just going to need some extra food. I'm just telling you. I'll bring my peanut butter and jellies on and we'll be good to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, you too. Have a great day. Be safe. Thank you, everybody. Bye.